Solon Township, that you're both charged with what they call felony murder. While in the perpetration or attempted perpetration of child abuse in the first degree, they're alleging that you murdered one Mary Welch. That is a charge called homicide felony murder. It is life without parole.
In August of 2018, in a quiet rural part of Solon Township, Michigan, first responders entered a home after receiving a distress call about an unresponsive infant. Inside that home, they found the body of 10-month-old Mary Ann Welch, lying still in her crib. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Mary weighed just 8 pounds. That's about the average weight of a newborn. She was nearly 1 year old. Her tiny frame was severely emaciated. Her ribs were visible, her limbs thin. Investigators later confirmed that she died from malnutrition and dehydration, conditions that had developed over time. Mary didn't die suddenly. She didn't suffer from a rare illness. She died slowly, silently, over days and weeks, from the absence of something very basic: food, water, and care. Her parents, Seth Welch and Tatiana Fusari, told authorities they had noticed that Mary wasn't gaining weight. They admitted she had been thinner than normal, wasn't sleeping well, and had seemed ill. Yet they never took her to a doctor. Their reason? They didn't trust the medical system. In interviews, Seth Welch said he believed doctors pushed unnecessary medications and vaccines. He viewed the healthcare system as part of a larger, corrupt structure. Tatiana Fusari told investigators she had considered taking Mary to a doctor, but feared Child Protective Services would get involved. So they waited and waited. The baby became weaker. Her condition deteriorated, and still, nothing was done. When police entered the home, they found signs of neglect, not just in Mary, but in the environment itself. The house was unclean. The crib she was found in hadn't been changed in days. There was no sign of medical equipment, no baby bottles prepared with formula, no diapers stacked in easy reach. What authorities saw made it very clear this was not a sudden emergency. This was prolonged, ongoing neglect. Seth and Tatiana were both charged with felony murder and first-degree child abuse. At their arraignment, courtroom footage captured their reactions as the charges were read aloud.
Felony murder. It is life without parole. It requires a DNA sample to be taken upon arrest, which is often like a cotton swab or in the inside of your cheek.
Welch looked confused, then stunned. Fusari's face shifted from blank to horrified. She put her hand to her mouth as if trying to hold in a scream or a sob. They both learned in that moment they were facing life in prison. As the trial unfolded, the public learned that this wasn't the couple's first brush with Child Protective Services.
The second offense that you're both charged with is called child abuse in the first degree, where they're alleging you knowingly or intentionally caused serious physical harm to a child. They're talking about this Mary Welch. It is a felony, possible penalty of up to life imprisonment, or any term of years less than life. Now, those are the two
CPS had been involved with the family back in 2014, though those cases were closed. After Mary's death, the couple's 2 other children were immediately removed from the home and placed into protective custody. Throughout the court proceedings, prosecutors argued that the parents were not just misguided, they were reckless. That their personal beliefs about medicine and government crossed a line when they allowed a child to suffer and die. The court agreed. In 2020, both Seth Welch and Tatiana Fusari were convicted of felony murder and child abuse in the first degree. They were each sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The judge stated that their conduct was not only neglectful, but criminally inhumane. They had not simply failed to act, they had deliberately withheld help. Mary Welch never had a chance to grow up. Her death was preventable. Her suffering was prolonged. And it was the result of decisions made by the two people who were supposed to protect her the most. This story is a painful reminder that a parent's belief system, no matter how strongly held, does not override a child's right to live, to eat, to be cared for. Mary's name deserves to be remembered, not just because of how her life ended, but because of how her loss forced many to look deeper into the dangers of medical neglect, the failures of oversight, and the quiet tragedies that can unfold behind closed doors.